Okay, I want people to see this. I have a video here called Exposing Feminist Thera and Community Mobbing. Now look at that. It says that it has 5,300 views, around there. Now, let's click it. 3,601 views. So, some of my channels, I've experienced weird stuff like this. I've had it where I've gone into my account and then I've had people singing songs from the U.S. Army. They're like wearing uniforms. So let me cut and paste this link. This is from one of my videos. And yesterday I had 5,900 views here. I'm supposed to have around 10,000 today. So let's go here. So God knows how many. They're lowering the views, I think, on purpose. Look, I refreshed. I put the URL there.
Hello, fellow target.
See, look, the page came up. And now I'm going to try to find that video again. Feminist Thera. Let me see where it's at. Now they're not showing it in the results. I guess they figured out that I'm seeing what's going on. So let's see if we can find it again. Let's put it here. I'm going to put here Thera. And let's see what happens. See if I can find my Thera community mobbing. Okay, look at this. I didn't even click it. And look, I mean, my computer's actually been hacked. I didn't even touch the button. I just went right to it. Look. See, it's right there, 5,000.3. Let me see. 5,300. So, look at this. 3,601 views. So, let me go back again. Now, I have high-speed internet. So, let me get this link right here. And look at this. 5,300 views. And it's went down. So that means I could possibly have a whole bunch more views. So I'm going to open this window. And I'm going to close this one. Remember that Feminist Thera, community mobbing. So we got this page loading. This is the real deal. See, look. 5,300. I keep saying point. You guys see a little point there. And I haven't really slept that good last night. I am being attacked, people. Okay, now check this out. I have 3,500 views for psychological operations, blah blah blah. So let's click that link. Let's go in there. The views are being lowered. And see, I'm using a Linux operating system, as you can see here. There's no fancy software program. I don't have any camera while I'm doing this. I should have just been using a screen recorder the whole time. It just sucks up so much RAM. Let me see. Bogs down my computer. So let's see here. I just want you guys to see what's going on. Okay, look. I have 3,500 views around there. So I'm going to click. Let me see, where's my little cursor? There it is. See, my views are going down.
The purpose of this video is to give a brief many of my own gang enemy. First, beware of ex-military or those currently serving, as there is a definite connection between military service and gang stalking. Many of my own gang stalkers have had ties to each of the armed service branches, including the U.S. Army, Navy, Marines, and Air Force. This is not to say all servicemen and women are gang stalkers, just to be clear. It's just an empirical observation I and others have made over time. On social media, look for people who want to be your new best friend, liking all your content and placating to your vanity by telling you how attractive you are. This is a big red flag. What a gang stalker is trying to do is establish a trust between you and them, a kind of familiarity and instant bond. Real friendships take time for trust to evolve, especially for a targeted individual. Beware of anyone deeply involved in Satanism or the occult. Start to see them. I'll link to a video in the description to who our enemy is. Generic owners will post a lot of pictures of moons and wolf symbolism. A crescent moon is especially important to practicing witches and is goddess worship. I think their obsession with wolves is a befitting one, as these stalkers are definitely pack animals. It's also biblical, suggestive of the wolves preying on God's sheep. Pay attention to the tattoos people have adorning their body, as these are more than clues regarding who they are in service to. Watching the video I've linked to will be a good crash course in things to look for. Gang stalkers often look like the geeky hacker types we saw in the movie The Matrix, which, by the way, I recommend to all TIs. You'll see lots of photos of them posing at Comic-Con conventions. For some reason, they like playing dress-up. Beware of anyone who is a member of a secret society or who is suggestive of that.
Somebody didn't want the gray state investigated, explored, and unveiled. That's why David Crowley is dead. He was the writer and director of one of the most controversial movies in modern history, and somebody didn't want him to produce it. What was so threatening about David Crowley and the gray state concept? Like Gray State, many Hollywood films have depicted apocalyptic themes and end-of-the-world scenarios, yet the directors of these films are still alive. Roland Emmerich wasn't murdered after directing blockbusters 2012 and A Day After Tomorrow. Steven Soderbergh wasn't killed after his movie, Contagion. But David Crowley is dead, along with his wife and child. They were killed before the production could be completed. What was so dangerous about Gray State? David Crowley claimed
script! Talk about this. A lot of people fill all this stuff and expose.
Holocaust. Literally thousands of films have been produced about the Holocaust, and yet one segment camps in America and detention. Instead, they have produced propaganda in place of real issues. When Hollywood does discuss internment and detention, it's almost always about World War II and the Holocaust. Literally thousands of films have been produced about the Holocaust, and yet one single film that addresses the potential for a Holocaust in the United States is stopped mid-production after its director is murdered. Seems a bit odd, doesn't it? They don't want Americans, Canadians, and other Western countries to know what is coming, and that is a plan to intentionally collapse Western society. If you don't believe me, read the plan that's been in the books for over a century, planned out by the Illuminati and penned by Albert Pike back in the 1800s in his 3 World War predictions. Gray State was simply too threatening. It revealed too much, not just the obvious points of what could happen with the collapse of a society, things like martial law, food shortages, and a provisional government. It goes beyond this. David knew a secret, and he left it inside of the trailer for Gray State, in plain sight. David Crowley used the Illuminati's favorite game against the notorious cabal.
This is a test of the